Next, I'm going to write the test case for the get customer by ID method negative scenario. So let me change the comment for this one because this one is for the positive scenario. I will copy the comment and will change. So usually when this get customer by ID method is called, we are passing a customer ID. It is possible that in the database there won't be a customer with this customer ID. So in that case, it should return a new resource not found exception, just like this. And let's test that scenario in this test case. So here in the name of the method, we can give, here we gave the given customer ID. Instead of customer ID, we can give name as given invalid customer ID. And when we are still going to call the get customer by ID method, when get customer by ID, then it should return a resource not found exception. So then return resource not found exception. So the precondition here, I will give an invalid customer ID. So let me write a customer ID, something like invalid customer ID, and let's give like this. We know that um, our customer is having the customer ID 1. So if we pass something other than 1, it's a invalid customer ID. Then in the stubbing, we can add given, and we are going to call the customer repository dot find by ID, customer repository dot find by ID, and I'm going to pass this invalid customer ID. And once we pass this invalid customer ID, it should return. Actually, instead of return, we can use will throw because it's a exception. So because of that, we can write will throw, and it should return new resource not found exception. And this resource not found exception takes 3 parameters. First one is customer, what is the resource type. So then field name, customer ID, and the third parameter is this invalid customer ID. So we have completed the stubbing call. Next, I'm going to write the when section of this test case. And this case, we have to write when and then together. So let me cut this and paste here. So this is a special situation where we write both when and then together. So we are going to use the assert that thrown by method, and inside this I'm going to use the lambda expression, and here I'm going to call the action. So the action is customer service dot get customer by ID, and we are going to pass the customer ID as this, the invalid customer ID, and here we use is instance of, and inside the parentheses we have to specify the class we expect, that is resource not found exception, and it should be a resource not found exception class. We should use has message containing, and inside the parentheses we have to give the expected message. So if you go to the resource not found exception, the message we are expecting is resource, whatever the resource we are passing, in this case customer not found with whatever the field name, which is customer ID that we are passing as a parameter, colon, then the value we are passing, that is invalid customer ID. So I will here I will mention that message, customer not found with customer ID colon, the value is 99L. Okay, let's run this test case and see whether we are getting the result as pass. It shows as test failed. Let's see. It is expecting a message like this, and it is getting a message like this. So it's because of this L and also this uh, quotation symbol. So in our resource not found, we have this quotation. So let me remove that. We don't need that quotation here. And also we don't need to pass L. We just need to pass the uh, value only, 99. So let's run this test case and see the result. Here it is showing as test passed. Next, I'm going to create the test case for the update customer method. Let me add the BDD style test structure, and this is for the update customer method. And in this case also we are going to give when updating a customer, we are going to give a customer DTO object, and after giving the customer DTO object, then we are going to change the customer DTO object in the update customer method, and after changing we are going to save it back to the database, and then it will return the updated customer DTO object. So in this method, first we are calling the find by ID, and after that when we get the customer object from the database, we are changing the values for the fields of that obtained customer object, and then we are calling the save method of the customer repository to save that updated object to the database. So it is going to return then updated customer object as a DTO. So I will write the name as given customer DTO object when update customer is the behavior or the action. So when update customer, then it is going to return a customer DTO object, which is the updated customer DTO object. Return updated customer DTO object. So in the precondition, we have already a customer object in the setup method, which we created before. So it has the customer ID as 1. So in the precondition here, we have to first call the find by ID method of the customer repository, because that's how in the update customer method also the flow goes like that. First we are going to call the find by ID by passing the customer ID. So here I will give here given, and then customer repository, and then find by ID, and in this find by ID we have to pass the ID of the customer object. We can get it from customer dot get customer ID, and then it should return uh, a optional of customer object. So optional dot of, and we have to pass customer. That's the object we created before. So we pass the ID of that object, and when we pass the ID of that object, it is going to return that object as an optional of type custom. So that's the first line we have to give in the given or precondition section. Then in our customer service IMPL, we are going to then update some fields, and after updating, then we are using the save method of the customer repository, and we are passing the same object we obtained from the database into the save method. So we can give that here, given when we use the save method of customer repository by passing the customer object, it is going to return the same object, because here we are passing the updated customer object, after updating the values, and then it will return the same updated object. And as usual, we have to write the do return, because in our update customer method, we are using the model mapper to convert the customer object to a customer DTO object. So we have to write here that, so it should return customer DTO, the customer DTO, the same customer DTO that we have given here. It will return that customer DTO when we use model mapper, and then map method of model mapper, by passing the customer object, it will return the type customer DTO dot class type object, which is this. So now I'm going to use that same customer object and same customer DTO object to update some values. Let me use the customer object first. Customer dot, I will give the first name of the customer. Right now we have the customer first name as John in the customer object as well as customer DTO object, and also we have the customer last name as Doe in both customer object and customer DTO object. So I'm going to update both first name and last name for the customer object as well as customer DTO object. I'm going to use the setter, and then I'm going to use the customer dot set customer last name, and I will give the last name as Smith. Similarly, I will update the customer DTO object also to same values. We need to update both customer and customer DTO objects, because here we have given this line saying it should return customer DTO when a model mapper is used to map customer object to customer DTO type. So because of that, we have to update the customer DTO as well with the changed values. Next, in the when section, I'm going to call the update customer method of customer service, and I will pass the first I will pass the customer DTO object, because always the customer service IMPL class, the update customer method is taking customer DTO object as the first parameter, and it will take the customer ID as the second parameter. So we have to pass here customer DTO, and the next parameter is customer DTO dot get customer ID. Once we pass those two parameters, it should return a updated customer DTO object. So let's take the return value into updated customer DTO. Next, in the verifying section, I'm going to use the assert that, and let's verify the first name and last name of the updated customer DTO object. Get customer first name, it should be equal to mark, and the next one, updated customer DTO dot get customer last name, it should be equal to Smith. So those are the two values we updated in our customer DTO object. So when the update customer method returns the updated customer DTO object, which is this one, it should have the same first name and last name as this. So let's run this test case. And we see the test case has passed. Next, we have the delete customer method in our customer service IMPL class. So let's write the unit test to test the delete customer method. I will give the name as JUnit test for delete customer method, and I will give the same comment inside the display name annotation. And this case, when we want to delete the customer, we are passing a customer ID to the method, and because of that we can use given customer ID, and in the when section, so we are going to perform the delete customer method. That's the behavior we are going to test. When delete customer, then in the delete customer method, it is not returning anything. It has the return type of void, but it is always removing. It should remove the customer from the database. And for this, in the then section, we can write, because it's not going to return anything, we can write then return nothing. So after that, in the precondition section, we have to first we have to use the find by ID method call of the customer repository, because in the delete customer method of customer service IMPL class also, it is using the find by ID method first, and we'll do the same thing. So given customer repository dot find by ID, and if we pass the uh, customer dot get customer ID into this find by ID method, so it should return optional of customer. In the given section, next we have to call the delete by ID method of the customer repository, and we have to pass the customer ID. So we will use given, and inside the given, within parentheses, we will use customer repository, and we have to call the delete by ID, and that's what we are calling in our delete customer method also. So to delete, uh, and we have to pass the customer ID into this delete by ID method, and once we call this delete by ID method, it is not going to return anything. So to specify that, we have to use will do nothing in front of this call, like this. So that's the given section. And in the when section, we can use the customer service and then delete customer, and we can pass the customer dot get customer ID, and it's not going to return anything. So in the then section, this time we are not going to use the assert that statements. Instead, we are going to use verify, and we are going to verify how many times this delete by ID method was called. So for the first parameter, we are going to pass customer repository, and the next one is times, and we are going to verify that it's going to call only once. So here, after that, we are going to specify the method that we want to verify that it's being called only once. So this is delete by ID method of the customer repository, and we want to verify that it's only being called once, one time. So to call this method, we want to pass the customer ID, customer dot get customer ID. So that's the unit test for the delete customer method. And let's run this and see the result. We can see the test case has passed. That means this method has only called once.